The sky was on fire, explosions shook the ground. The air was filled with smoke, fire, and screams. Red lights flashed in the dark sky as ships fell from above like burning stars. She lay on the broken ground, blood dripping from her shoulder. Dirt on her face, eyes half open. Her name was Kalara, a warrior from the planet Zereth. A proud fighter, a killer, a survivor. But now, she was dying. Her breathing was slow, her heart was weak. She could barely move her fingers. Her armor was broken, her blade missing. Oh! Around her, bodies of her people lay still silent. She had fought with all her strength, for her world. For her people? Against the humans. And now, it was over. Kalara closed her eyes. So this is how I die. She thought. She welcomed death. After all the pain, all the battles, all the running. She was ready, but something happened. Just before her last breath, she felt something strange. A cold wind, a soft touch. A flash of white light, and then nothing. Silence. No pain. No fire, no noise. She opened her eyes slowly. She was not on the battlefield. There was a roof above her. White, smooth, clean, the air smelled fresh. Soft cloths covered her body. She looked down. No armor, no blood, no wounds. She was alive. She sat up quickly, her heart racing. She was in a room, a human room, a bed under her. A small table with a lamp. A chair. A window showing green trees and clear skies. Kalara panicked. She looked around for a weapon but found none. Her hands were shaking, and then the door opened. A human man stood there. Tall, calm, wearing simple clothes, not a soldier. His eyes were soft but sharp. He didn't look afraid. She narrowed her eyes. "Who are you?" she asked in a weak, rough voice. The man raised his hand slowly. "Easy," he said. "I'm not your enemy." "Where am I?" she demanded. "You're on Earth, my house. You were dying. I saved you." Kalara stared at him. A human saved her? It made no sense. She was a Zarathian. Enemy of Earth. She had killed humans, fought their soldiers. They hated her kind. So why? "Why?" she asked. "Why did you help me?" The man shrugged. "Because you needed help." She didn't believe him. She didn't trust humans. Not after everything. He moved to the side and placed a cup of water near her. "You've been asleep for 2 days, he said. "You need rest." Kalara didn't. "Drink it." She just watched him. "What's your name?" she asked. "Eli," he said. "Yours?" She didn't answer. Names had power. She wouldn't give hers so easily. Eli sat on the chair, not too close. "You don't have to trust me," he said. "But I'm not going to hurt you." She looked into his eyes. Strange, he didn't lie. His eyes didn't show fear or hate. Still, she didn't lower her guard. "Where are my weapons?" she asked. "I didn't find any," he said. "Just you half dead in the woods." Kalara remembered nothing after the explosion. How did she get to the woods? How far was she from the battlefield? Did anyone else survive? She whispered. "I didn't see anyone," Eli replied. Her chest felt heavy. Maybe she really was the last. That night, when Eli left the room, Kalara stood up slowly. Her body was still weak, but she moved with purpose. She searched the room. Nothing dangerous. No cameras, no guards, just peace. Too peaceful, she found. A sharp pen under the table. Not a weapon, but sharp enough to stab. She hid it under the bed, then she looked at the window. She could escape, maybe, but where would she go? She sat back on the bed and stared at the ceiling. This man, Eli, was strange. He was not like the humans she knew. He didn't ask questions. Didn't try to chain her. He just let her be. Why? Maybe he was planning something. Maybe this was a trick. A trap, or maybe not all humans were monsters. Kalara closed her eyes again, but this time not to die. To think. Morning light slipped through the window. It touched Kalara's skin like a memory from another world. She didn't sleep much. Her body rested. But her mind didn't. Too many questions. Too much silence, and still, he hadn't locked the door. Why? No chains, no guards. No cameras, just this strange man, this Eli, offering water, food, and peace. But Kalara was a warrior. She didn't Believe in peace. Not anymore. The door opened again. Eli stepped in, holding a bowl of hot soup. It smelled simple, but good. Human food. He placed it on the table beside her. Morning, he said, like they were friends. Kalara didn't answer. Instead, she asked coldly, "Why do you keep helping?" "Me?" He sat down in the chair, keeping a distance. "Because I've seen too much death. And you think saving me will fix that?" she asked. He smiled a little. "No, but it's a start." She looked away. His calmness disturbed her. Most humans screamed when they saw her. Most ran or shot. Not this one. He just sat, like she wasn't a killer, like she was just a guest. Kalara touched her side. Her wounds were healing fast. Too fast. Human medicine couldn't do that. "What did you use on me?" she asked. "Something I've kept hidden for a long time," he said. "Salvaged alien tech from a crash 10 years ago." She turned to him, eyes sharp. "You've seen my kind before?" He nodded. "Once, but not like you." Silence again. Eli stood and opened a drawer. He pulled out a small item, metallic, shiny. He tossed it gently onto the bed. Her combat tracker. Kalara froze. He saw the fear in her eyes. "Relax," he said. "I disabled it." She grabbed it quickly, inspecting it. He was right. It was dead. No signal, no light. But if he hadn't found it, her people would have tracked her. Maybe they still will. "Why give it back?" she asked. Eli shrugged. "Because it's yours. Humans didn't do that. Humans kept what they stole. This one kept returning things. Even her dignity?" Kalara studied him closely. His hands were rough worker's hands. His left arm had a faint burn scar. "Military? Engineer? Survivor? Who are you, Eli?" she asked. He leaned back. His smile faded. "I used to fight too," he said. "Special Recon Unit, Earth Defense Force." Kalara's body tensed. So he was military. "I left after my team burned a whole Zarathian village. Children, unarmed, screaming." He looked away, ashamed. "They called it victory. I called it murder." Kalara's jaw clenched. Her mind flashed with the same screams from her world. "From her people, you killed my kind," she whispered. "Yes," Eli said softly. "And I'll carry that until I die." He looked into her eyes. "That's why I didn't let you die. Maybe I owe your people that much." Kalara didn't reply. Part of her wanted to stab him right there. Another part wanted to ask him why he was crying. She didn't understand this human later. While Eli worked in the kitchen, she walked around the house slowly. Her strength was returning. Photos hung on the walls. Eli as a child, his mother, his team. Happy moments frozen in time. On a shelf, she found a small sculpture, a bird with broken wings. Carved by hand, she didn't know why, but she liked it. She entered another room, his office. That's when she saw it, a file, open on the table. Her face on the page, Zarathian language, combat profile, photos from orbit, human notes written around it. She picked it up, heart pounding. He knew who she was all along. "Kalara?" His voice behind her. She turned quickly. Holding the pen from the table like a knife, he raised his hands again. "I didn't lie to you," he said. "I knew who you were. I just didn't care." "Then why save me?" she hissed. "Why not kill me when you had the chance?" Eli took a breath. "Because I saw your file. It said you spared civilians. You refused to bomb hospitals. You disobeyed your orders." He stepped closer, slowly. "You're not just a warrior, Kalara. You're more human than you think." Her hand trembled. "I've killed humans," she whispered. "So have I," he said. "I was trained to destroy your planet. And I was trained to destroy yours." He lowered his hands. "But maybe we're both tired of destroying." She stared at him. For a long moment, no words were spoken. Then she dropped the pen. Her hand ached, not from pain, but from how tightly she'd held it. That night, she sat near the window, looking at the stars. Her stars, her home. Was anyone left? Would they come for her? Was she still their warrior? Or had she already become something else? Behind her, Eli turned off the lights and went to sleep, but Kalara stayed awake watching the sky, waiting for the past, and unsure if she even wanted it anymore. Kalara moved like a shadow. The house was silent. Outside, the trees whispered in the wind. Inside, the floor creaked beneath her bare feet. She walked slowly, carefully like a trained predator. It was midnight. Eli was asleep in the other room. His breathing was slow and calm. She had waited hours for it. And now she had to know the truth. Something wasn't right. This man had saved her, fed her, healed her. But he also had her file, her tracker, an alien tech hidden in the house. No ordinary human had those things. No matter how kind he acted. Something was hidden behind these walls. She entered his office again. Same photos. Same papers, but this time she opened the drawer under the table. It was locked. She smiled. A locked drawer was always more honest than an open one. At least it admitted it had secrets. She picked a thin metal pin from the floorboard, bent it carefully, and slid it into the lock. One twist, two, click. It opened. Inside were files, dozens, all labeled in both human and alien language. She pulled them out one by one. Project Echo, Operation Firewave, Zerathian DNA logs. Hybrid trials. Kalara's heart pounded. She opened a folder labeled Phase 3, Survival Protocol. Inside was a photo. It was her, but not just a photo, a scan. It showed her heart rate, blood type, brain activity. It was taken recently. After she woke up. He had scanned her while she slept. Footsteps. Ela snapped. The drawer shut and hid behind the door just in time. Eli entered the office, rubbing his eyes. He didn't turn on the light. He walked over to the desk, opened a side cabinet, and pulled out a small device. He pressed a button. It blinked blue, a signal. He stared at it for a while, then sighed and whispered, "She's stronger than we thought." Kalara's fingers tightened into a fist. He was watching her. Testing her, she moved silently behind him, grabbed his shoulder, and slammed him against the wall. "What are you doing?" She growled. Eli froze. "You shouldn't be here. Why are you tracking me?" "I'm not." She pressed her arm to his throat. "Lie again?" He struggled but didn't fight. "I was monitoring your healing, that's all, to make sure you weren't dying." She pushed harder. "And the files? The projects? Echo? Hybrid trials? What is this house?" Finally, Eli shouted, "It was a lab!" Kalara stopped. He coughed. "Before I lived here, it was a secret military lab. They shut it down, left everything behind. I just never told anyone." She released him. He stepped back, breathing hard. "I didn't want to scare you." "You already did," she said coldly. They stood in silence for a long moment. Kellara looked around the room again, really looked this time. Not a home. A shell, a place built for quiet experiments? Every wall thick. Every wire hidden, soundproof, reinforced. This wasn't just a house. This was a cage. I was part of it, Eli admitted. The experiments, the tech, I watched them hurt people. Like you, that's why I left. That's why I live alone. Tilara narrowed her eyes. "And yet you stayed in the lab?" "I had nowhere else to go," he said, "and I thought, if anyone came again, maybe I could stop it." She didn't answer. He added, "You don't have to trust me. But I didn't lie to you to harm you. I just didn't know how much truth you could take." Kilara turned and walked out. She didn't slam the door, but she left it open. The next morning, she sat in the backyard. The sunlight warmed her skin. But her mind was still cold. She watched birds fly across the sky free. She remembered the sculpture she saw earlier, the bird with broken wings. Was that her now? Eli walked outside with 2 cups of something hot. Coffee, probably. He handed her one. She didn't take it. Instead, she asked, "What else is in this house?" He sat beside her. "A few weapons, some data drives. A comms relay I've kept off, and a signal blocker to protect us both." She turned to him. "But if someone already knows I'm alive?" He nodded slowly. "Then they're coming." Kalara looked into the trees. Her people would come for her. Or maybe the humans would. Either way, this peace wouldn't last. "Are you afraid?" she asked. Eli smiled faintly. "Of you? A little." "Of what's coming? A lot?" She finally took the coffee. It was bitter but real. That night, she entered the basement for the first time. Eli didn't follow her. The old lab still smelled like chemicals, dust, and death, but in one corner she found something glowing, a pod. Small, Broken, it had Zarathian markings. Inside it, her old armor, burned but intact. Her blade, 2. And a small crystal still pulsing with energy. She picked it up. It whispered in her mind, "We are still watching you." Kalara, her heart froze. She turned off the light and went back upstairs. But now, she knew, this wasn't just a hiding place. It was the eye of the storm. Kalara stood in front of the mirror. Her reflection stared back, familiar, yet strange. The burn marks on her shoulder had faded. Her skin looked whole again. But inside, she felt broken, the crystal she found in the basement still pulsed softly in her pocket. It was a Zarathian memory core, a small piece of her past. Of home, she held it tightly, then she pressed it against her temple. The world changed. Flashes, sounds, smells. Memories flooded her mind. Like fire, she was back on Zerith before the war. Children ran through the glowing trees. Her sister laughed. Beside a crystal lake, their father trained them in the courtyard. Her mother sang old songs at night. It had been a beautiful world once. A peaceful one. Until the humans came. Kalara saw the sky turn red. Giant ships broke through the clouds. Bombs rained down on cities. Buildings crumbled. Fires spread like disease. She remembered running, fighting, losing. She saw her sister's hand slip from hers. She saw her father's last stand. She saw her mother's broken eyes. The memory burned. It left a scar deeper than any wound. Kalara gasped and pulled the crystal away. She was back in Eli's room, sweating, shaking and silent. Eli stood in the doorway. He didn't speak. He had heard her cries. Kalara didn't look at him. She spoke through gritted teeth. "Do you know what your people did to mine?" Eli stepped forward slowly. "I know what the armies did. I know what the leaders ordered." Kalara turned toward him, her eyes sharp and wet. "They destroyed cities. They poisoned oceans. They burned our forests, our skies. Everything," Eli nodded. "I saw some of it. I believed the lies. They told us you were monsters. That killing you would protect Earth." Kalara's voice cracked. "And now you think saving one of us will fix it?" "No," he said quietly. "But maybe it's a start." She stood up. "You still don't understand. I wasn't just a soldier. I was part of the Black Talon." Eli's eyes widened. He had read about them. The elite Zarathian unit? Warriors trained from birth, ruthless, unstoppable. "Then why did you spare humans during the war?" he asked. "Your file said you disobeyed orders." Kalara looked away. Her hands clenched. "I saw what war turns people into. I saw my commander burn a hospital full of civilians just because humans were hiding there. I begged him to stop." He laughed. Her voice dropped to a whisper. "That day, something inside me broke." Eli didn't speak. He just listened. Kalara walked past him into the hallway. She touched the wall, solid, cold, real. "I kept fighting. But I stopped believing," she said. "I didn't fight for victory. I fought so I wouldn't feel useless. So I wouldn't have time to remember." She paused. "But memories always come back." Later, they sat by the fire in the living room. No words. Just the sound of wood crackling and wind moving outside. Kalara looked into the flames. "Do you regret saving me?" she asked. Eli shook his head. "No. Do you regret being saved?" She didn't answer, but her eyes softened for the first time. Suddenly, a sharp beep echoed from the basement. Eli stood quickly. "That's not supposed to happen." Kalara followed him down. The signal blocker was blinking red. "What does it mean?" she asked. Eli's face went pale. "It means someone is scanning this area, looking for something or someone." Kalara's hand moved to her blade. "Zarathians?" "Maybe, or humans," Eli replied. "Either way, they know something's here." She looked at the signal reader. It was moving. They're close. Eli rushed to a cabinet and pulled out a long case. Inside were 2 weapons, 1 human rifle and 1 energy pistol. He handed the pistol to her. She looked at it, then him. "You think I'll fight beside you now?" He nodded. "I think you're smart enough to fight for yourself." Kalara took the weapon. "Let's be clear," she said. "If it's my people, I'll decide what to do, not you." "Fair." Eli replied. They moved around the house quickly. Closed the shutters, activated the defense locks, set backup power. Kalara moved like she was born for this, but inside she was torn. What if her people came to take her back? Would they welcome her, or execute her for disobedience? Would she follow them, or protect the human who saved her? That night, sleep didn't come. Kalara sat on the roof, watching the stars. The crystal pulsed softly in her pocket like a heartbeat. Home was out there, but it didn't feel like home anymore, and Earth, the enemy world, felt more honest than any command she had ever obeyed. Below her, Eli stood at the doorway, watching the trees. Both of them waited for who would come. For what? They would choose, for the line they might have to cross. Rain fell gently on the roof. The world outside was quiet, but it wasn't peaceful. Kalara stood by the window, eyes fixed on the tree line. The wind moved the leaves, but her warrior instinct told her something else was moving too. Eli stood behind her, holding a scanner. Its screen flickered with red line signals. Unfamiliar ones. They're close now, he said. Kalara didn't blink. How close? 300 meters, maybe less. She took a deep breath. Zarathian tech? He nodded. Or someone using it. Kalara's jaw tightened. Then they're watching us already. They moved into the basement. The old lab now looked like a war room. Maps on the wall. Weapons on the table. Lights off. Backup power running. Kalara pulled on her half-damaged armor. It still fit. The blade clicked into her back. Her hands moved fast. Like this was routine because it was. Eli checked the drone camera he had set up earlier. The feed came through, and there they were, 3 figures in dark cloaks, moving through the trees like ghosts, not Zarathians. Not humans, not anything familiar. Kalara stepped closer. Zoom in, Eli did. She saw a flash of skin gray. A faint symbol on the shoulder. She froze. That's not my people, she said quietly. That's something else. Eli turned to her. What do you mean? She stared at the screen, cold. Before I joined the Black Talon, I heard whispers. My instructors warned us about a hidden group, neither Zarathian nor human. They didn't belong to any planet. What were they? Eli asked. Collectors, she said. They follow war, they hunt survivors. And they don't leave witnesses. Eli's voice dropped. Why would they come here? Kalara slowly looked at the glowing crystal in her hand. Maybe because I'm still alive. Just then, a static noise crackled through the house speakers, a voice cold, robotic, but clear. Subject Kalara, your heart still beats. Your error has not been corrected. She and Eli froze. The voice continued. Prepare for deletion. Kalara grabbed her blade. Eli raised his rifle. Lights in the house flickered. They've hacked the comms, he said. They're already in the system. Kalara's heart pounded, but her mind was sharp. Then we draw them in. Eli looked at her. You want to fight? She nodded. No more running. They moved to the top floor, silent as smoke. Rain hit the windows harder now. Lightning flashed, lighting. Up the forest, Kalara watched the shapes approach the house. 3 figures, tall, fast, smooth. Movements. They didn't walk. They glided. Eli whispered, we hold the stairs. You go left, I'll cover right. Kalara paused. If they capture me, don't try to save me. Eli gave her a look. We're past that. The first figure smashed through the front window. No sound, just glass turning to dust. Kalara lunged. Her blade met cold metal. Sparks flew. The figure moved like a shadow. No face, just a smooth helmet. Eli fired 3 times. One shot hit the second attacker in the chest, but it didn't fall. They weren't machines. Not fully. But not living either. They were something in between. The fight was fast and brutal. Kalara flipped over a table, kicking one of the figures down the stairs. Eli threw a flash bomb, blinding them for 3 seconds, that's all. Kalara needed. She drove her blade through one of their cores. It screamed, not with a voice, but with static. The others froze for a second, then retreated into the dark. Gone. Breathing hard, Kalara stood over the broken one. Its body twitched, leaking dark energy like blood. She leaned close. Why me? She asked. The machine's voice was broken now. You remember. You carry the truth. What truth? Its head sparked once. Then it spoke one last time. The war was not yours. Then it exploded. Eli pulled Kalara back just in time. The house shook, but held together. They sat on the floor, catching their breath. Kalara stared into the smoke. What did it mean? Eli asked. The war wasn't yours? She looked at the broken wall. Maybe our war was started by someone else. Eli whispered, someone who wanted us to destroy each other. The crystal in her pocket glowed brighter than ever. Kalara took it out. Suddenly, a new memory unlocked, a hidden file. She saw a room deep underground, human generals. Zarathian commanders together signing something. A deal. Then a shadow stepped between them, not human, not Zarathian, just watching. She dropped the crystal. Eli, she said slowly. I think we were all being used. He looked at her. By who? I don't know, not yet. But if I don't stop them. She looked out the window. No one will. Asterisk smoke drifted through the broken windows. Rain poured harder now, washing away the blood and dust, but the silence inside the house wasn't peace. It was warning. Kalara stood in the hallway. Her armor cracked, her blade stained. Her heart beat steady, but it no longer felt like a soldier's heart. It felt heavier. Eli stood across the room, bandaging a cut on his arm. His rifle leaned against the wall, still hot from the fight. Neither of them spoke, not yet. Kalara finally broke the silence. You're hurt, Eli looked up. Not bad. She stepped forward. Let me see. He raised an eyebrow. You're offering help now? I've seen worse, she said. I've done worse. He smiled faintly but didn't move. I meant what I said, Kalara continued. If I have to face my people, I'll choose, Eli nodded. Just don't choose too late. Suddenly, a sharp sound buzzed through the room. The signal jammer in the basement had gone dead. Kalara's head turned toward the stairs. They cut the power, she said. Eli grabbed his rifle. And the shields, that means they're inside the perimeter. Kalara didn't hesitate. She walked to the cabinet, pulled out a second weapon, and tossed it to him. This time, she said, we fight together. The lights flickered, then darkness. Outside, the sound of engines. A soft hum, then a roar through the window. Kalara saw it, a Zarathian drop ship. Her people had arrived. The ship hovered above the trees, engines keeping it steady. A blue light scanned the house. A voice came through a speaker, calm but commanding. Kalara of the Black Talon, surrender yourself. You are not authorized to act without command. Kalara stared up at the voice. It was Commander Threx, her old mentor. The one who once trained her to kill without question. Eli stepped back. What will you do? Kalara didn't answer. She walked outside. Rain fell on her armor as she raised her hands. The blue light locked onto her. Then a second voice, this one private, sent through her old neural link. You are infected. You've touched human lies. Come home, let us fix you. Kalara spoke back. You mean erase me? No reply. She glanced over her shoulder. Eli was in the doorway, ready to fight. He had no armor, no backup, no reason to stay, and yet he did. Her blade buzzed quietly on her back. It waited just like her. 3 Zarathian soldiers landed beside her. They moved in sync, weapons raised. One of them looked familiar. Lyra? Kalara said. The soldier paused. You're not Kalara anymore. I'm still me, she said. I just see clearer now. You're corrupted. No, Kalara said. I'm awake. The first shot came fast. Not from her. From them. Kalara dodged and swept her blade low, knocking one soldier off balance. The other lunged. She parried, spun, and slammed her elbow into their mask. They weren't trying to kill her. They were trying to capture her. Eli fired from the house, forcing them to take cover. Kalara shouted, Don't kill them! Eli nodded, changed his aim, and fired at their weapons instead. Kalara disarmed one soldier, knocked another to the ground, and then stood over Lyra. Why are you following orders from shadows? She asked. Lyra growled. Because we have to. No, Kalara said. We choose to. She let Lyra go. The dropship's engines powered up again. A larger figure stepped out. Commander Threx. He still wore black armor, but older now. His eyes cold as stone. Kalara, he said. You were the best of us, but you've become a danger. She stood her ground. To who? You, or whoever's been feeding you lies? Threx raised his weapon. Come quietly. No, you'll die. Then I die as myself. They charged at each other, blade against blade. She had trained under him. She knew every move. But he was faster, stronger, angrier. He swung high. She blocked low. Their weapons sparked. He whispered, You were like a daughter to me. She growled, Then why try to break me? Eli fired once, hit Threx in the shoulder, just enough. Kalara moved in and disarmed him. She had the kill shot, but she didn't take it. She dropped her weapon instead and said, I'm done fighting your war. Threx looked up at her. Then you're no longer Zarathian. She stepped back. Then I'll be something better. The drop ship began to retreat. The soldiers helped Threx on board. No one else spoke. Kalara watched them disappear into the clouds. Rain still fell, but the war, for now, had paused. Inside the house, Kalara sat on the floor. Eli handed her a towel. That was one hell of a speech. She smiled faintly. I didn't plan it. So ... Kalara looked out the window. Now I find the ones who started all this, the ones who made us enemies. And if you find them? She looked at him. I end them. The sky was no longer red. For the first time in weeks, it was calm, no ships, no gunfire. Just clouds drifting across a pale blue sky. Kalara sat on the roof of the house, legs crossed, eyes steady. Her blade rested beside her clean now. Not because there was peace, but because she had chosen not to kill today, that, for her, was something new. Eli climbed up beside her, holding 2 mugs of hot tea. His arm was still bandaged, his clothes dirty, but he smiled like someone who'd survived a storm. Because he handed her 1 mug. She took it without a word. You always this quiet? He asked. Kalara sipped her tea. Only when thinking. What about? She looked up at the clouds. What happens next? The memory crystal sat between them, pulsing gently. It was the last link to her people, her history, and now, possibly, the key to something bigger. Eli nodded toward it. Still showing. You things? She gave a slow nod. More than I wanted. But not enough to understand it all. What did it show this time? She turned to him. It showed the first meeting. Between humans and Zarathians? No, she said. Before that. Kalara closed her eyes. She saw a dark room, cold and deep underground, a hidden council. Alien voices speaking through machines. Watching. 2 young species, Earth and Zereth, grow, then pushing them to war. Not for land, not for power, for balance. For control. To keep them too weak to unite. The war between our worlds was designed, Kalara whispered, by something older than both of us. Something that feeds on division. Eli frowned. Why? What do they gain? Chaos, she said. Distraction. As long as we fight each other, we never look beyond. Eli looked toward the forest. Then we stop fighting. Kalara smiled softly. Easier said than done. Suddenly, a small device on Eli's belt beeped. He checked it. New signal, he said. Civilian, Earth-based, a ship's coming. Kalara stood. Military? He shook his head. Too weak. Looks like a single pilot. An hour later, they stood in the clearing near the house. The ship landed rough, shaky, old. From it stepped a young woman in a patched pilot suit. Dusty, nervous, she held up her hands. I'm not here to fight. I followed a distress ping. Kalara stepped forward. Who are you? The woman swallowed hard. Name's Myra. Used to be with Earth Defense, not anymore. She looked between the two. I saw what happened here. The energy surge, the drop ship, the collector attack, and, I think I believe what you're trying to do. Eli raised a brow. And what do you think we're trying to do? Myra smiled nervously. Stop the wrong war. Kalara nodded slowly. Then help us. We'll need a ship, Myra blinked. Going somewhere? Kalara looked up at the stars. I'm going to find the ones who caused this. The ones who hide behind curtains and control lives. The ones who start wars from the shadows. Later. That night, the 3 of them sat around the fire. Kalara sharpened her blade slowly. Thoughtfully. Myra cleaned her ship's nav system. Eli typed notes from the crystal data into a secure file. What will you do once you find them? Myra asked. Kalara didn't stop sharpening. Expose them, then stop them. Alone? Myra asked. Eli answered, she won't be. Kalara looked across the flames. I don't want to lead an army, she said. I want to build a signal, a voice. Something the rest of the galaxy can hear. Myra leaned back. You think people will listen? Kalara stared into the fire. If even one does, that's enough. The next morning, the sky turned orange. With dawn, the old house stood still, damaged but not broken. Like the two people leaving it behind, Kalara wore her repaired armor, her blade strapped to her back. The crystal embedded into the chest plate, its pulse now syncing with her heart. Eli carried a case of supplies. Myra powered up the ship. As the engines roared, Kalara turned to look at Earth one last time, not as an enemy. Not as a soldier, but as someone reborn. I came to your world to die, she whispered. Eli smiled beside her. And you stayed to fight. Kalara turned to him. No, she said. I stayed to live. The ship lifted off the ground, slow at first, then rising into the clouds. Below them, the world shrank. Trees became dots. Roads turned to lines, and far above, space waited. Dark. Silent. Full of truths no war could hide forever. Kalara placed a hand on the window as the stars came into view. Her voice was steady. Let them watch. She wasn't afraid anymore.